Telling stories is a powerful Indigenous tradition. Through the visual and performing arts, we get to share our culture and our dreams. What's exciting is that more talented young Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders are being nurtured to step into the spotlight. They're the dancers, actors, artists and singers of tomorrow. So take a seat and get comfortable, because you're about to be entertained. This building in South Brisbane looks like any other unremarkable urban office. But behind these walls pumps a powerhouse of talent.
Check it out. Off we go.
ACPA, the Aboriginal Centre for Performing Arts, is Australia's peak performing arts school for Indigenous people.
It's an organisation that goes across Australia seeking out the most talented Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander youth. And we do professional training in acting, dancing and singing and music. Sometimes it's hard to work because there's just so much energy. And there's tromping on the ceiling from the traditional stuff that we train them with. This recording studio right here next to my office. And, you know, I just find that really a buzz.
Leah Purcell, star of stage and screen, is ACPA's artistic director.
I believe theatre is as a great opportunity as Indigenous people in this contemporary world that we live in to tell our Dreamtime stories. What we're doing here is we're still corroborean and we're still making dream and, you know, song lines, our dreaming stories. So theatre is an awesome opportunity to go back to a cultural practice that's in some cases have stopped. Step your way through. From the gut, off we go, and action. I get regenerated, rejuvenated, energised when I come here because I see the hunger in their eyes. That's getting better, but you got to engage your diaphragm. And then I see that slack hunger in their eyes, so it's nice to get in there and shake it up. Eli, truth, mate, truth, 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 truth. Even in your running. You shouldn't have to do anything because you should be so exhausted. Yep, I growl for these mob, and I'm probably tougher on them than what I am on professional actors when I work with them. But it's tough love, and I just said, if you can get through me, you guys, it's gonna be, you can get through anyone. Come on, come on, come on!
ACPA annually stages a major production at the Queensland Performing Arts Centre.
The car's big and black. Mummy's face is getting smaller and smaller.
This year, the school will present the play Stolen, Powerful Stories of the Stolen Generations. Rehearsals are in full swing.
Why can't I stay? I don't want to go.
That's more in the ballpark. With a show like Stolen and the emotional journey, let alone just for the audience, but what the actors go through and the performers. And it was really, really tough.
So they called her an unfit mother. They took me away.
Like many of her students, Leah's had her share of family drama.
Just growing up in the township of Mergen, it was very black and white. Being fair skinned, white dad, black mum, I was yellow and you walked a fine line. So there was that thing of, well, where do I sit in? Who am I? And then I always knew that I was good at acting or dancing or something like that. Slow that down. But it was through high school, having something that I was good at that kept me on the straight and narrow, that gave me, I knew I had a goal. And then what do you say after that? Until they were gone.
19-year-old Jakaya Dixon has the role of an auntie in the play.
I auditioned Jakaya when she came to enrol in ACPA. And there's just something about her. There's a leadership quality in her. Sit them in, and then if they muck up, which you try to do, you don't look, Bubba, you just lift. Yeah, you know.
Oh, she's mean, but she's deadly though. Love strength that she gives on to us.
It was the only time I ever seen a black baby go blue. I knew then it was time for him to move on.
But it was beautiful. Jakaya said to me, she goes, you know, I'm the oldest of I think it's sort of like 30 grandchildren and at least 19 live with us with our granny. I'm the oldest. And I just looked at her and I went, this system needs to be here.
In my family, I was the first grandchild to graduate high school on both sides of my family, on my mum and my dad's, and to be the first one to study performing arts or uni. I don't really know how to read properly or spell properly. Since I came here, I had so much support. They've been helping me and it's been amazing. I just think it was the best thing that I did to come and study again, because just seeing kids in the streets just not right and doing drugs and drinking is just not right.
You know, I'm glad we took her because she's shown us that she's got the talent and she's got the determination. And it's important because what if we would have sent that young girl home, back to Kempsey? You know, would she be alive today?
ACPA isn't just about performing arts. It's about learning the art of living too.
First and foremost, we are a performing arts school, but also we're giving life skills, how to find houses to rent, budgeting and filling in forms.
When you come from a remote community, there is such a big support network from your families and your community. And when they come here, they're very lonely.
Hey, Gina.
Hey, Jared.
Until they find the family here at ACPA.
Can you help me get a confirmation of enrolment, please?
Yeah, what's it for?
As a student support officer here at ACPA, we deal with the students' general daily lives. We deal from Centrelink issues to doctor's appointments. We help them with transportation.
A lot of people get homesick and stuff from living away from their family because they've never done it before. They're there for them because they're really good people to talk to.
ACPA provides accommodation for students who are from remote areas or need to be closer to the centre. So we have two houses, a boys' house and a girls' house, and we also have a partnership with Yamba Hostel and they have rooms for our students as well.
From Yamba Hostel, Jakaya can walk to classes and the multicultural melting pot of West End.
It was different and weird, and living in the city was very big. I didn't know where I was going. I thought it was like, oh, people are going to judge me of how I dress and the way I look, but they don't really notice you. You just walk past them and they'll just keep walking.
Jakaya's a big girl, but it's important to also support her in the arts. And I think as blackfellas, that's great, because characters come in all shapes and sizes. It's just the mainstream industry in this country that make the mistakes.
1, 2, 3.
I'm happy to be who I am and the way how I look. You can be whoever you want in the world on stage.
Dance is a powerful language in Indigenous culture. In Cairns, renowned artist Alec Tapoti unveils his new exhibition in an ancient way. These sorcerers' masks sprang from their creators' Torres Strait heritage.
I come from a line of dance masters and choreographers, but since I've grown up, I've learned all the songs and the dances, but I became a visual artist.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.
The exhibition is yet another triumph for Alec. His works command huge prices and the attention of VIPs. But behind success, there's always a journey.
You can strike gold in the art industry straight away, or you can, walk the walk for a while. It's not easy. I've sort of done a bit of both, but I think, you need to be prepared for the long walk.
Supporting fellow artists on that long walk is close to Alec's heart. He's come to the annual Cairns Indigenous Art Fair to do just that. Kayak is a 3-day festival that brings thousands of art lovers to the city's cruise liner terminal. They're here to see traditional dance and astounding works of Aboriginal and Islander art.
It's a bit scary.
Artists from Alec's own Bardu Island have worked for months to prepare pieces for the show.
See? Bardu is actually one of the biggest developing community in the Torres Strait, and we have an art centre. And we're very proud of it because it's been a long time coming. I think we've finally crossed the start line. We've taken off now, and it's just a matter of getting the work out there. My philosophy in art is that Torres Strait Islander artists as a group, we bring the best out of each other. So even as an established artist or an emerging artist, you're actually competitors. You compete against one another.
Yeah, this one like we want to take 7 days.
Ah, this one?
7 days.
I feel it's, almost like a job that I have to do to support the up-and-coming emerging artists. Making a living out of it, yeah, it's pretty hard, but, if you're passionate about it, you'll get there, yeah.
I'm doing some series with crocodiles. They're patient, but aggressive. I kind of like crocodiles, yeah.
24-year-old Tiho Ropian is from the small Cape York community of Injinu. He's not as famous as Alec Tipoti, not yet. But for a young fella, he's achieved a lot.
Straight after grade 12, I went straight to Sydney. I got into the College of Fine Arts. I was there for 4 years, did a bachelor degree of fine arts. I majored in painting and drawing.
After Sydney, Tiho came home to the tropics to pursue his art.
Just have this connection with animals, and I use them a lot in my work. They're part of my life, part of my culture.
Tiho's talent is impressive, but there's another string to his bow.
All right, we'll just lift them up. If you can grab that hook and slip it in.
He works for Yumi Arts, a Cairns-based organisation supporting Indigenous arts in the far north.
I'm the Indigenous Development Officer for Visual Arts and Crafts, so I look after artists and also manage the Exhibition Ready program, which takes artists through setting up exhibition and framing work and all of that. You looking forward for the opening, Glenn?
Oh yeah, definitely. A bit nervous, but
it's kind of a good opportunity for emerging artists. They have that chance to show their work publicly, and because other mainstream galleries, they kind of show more established artists, it's hard to kind of get in there, and here at Yumi Arts, the Exhibition Ready program, it gives them that chance.
For a young Indigenous person coming from a community, a very small community like Injinu, and having the discipline and determination to go to Sydney for 4 years and complete his degree and then decide that he wants to come back and work with his mob. I think it's extraordinary. I think Tiho is going to go a very, very long way in Australia.
Going places is part of Tiho's job. Yumi Arts takes Exhibition Ready into remote communities across the top end.
Have they confirmed how many artists that can be in it?
Probably 8 to 10 artists.
Tiho and his colleague Renee are off to the coastal town of Yarrabah, an hour south of Cairns. Yarrabah Arts Centre is home base to painters, potters and weavers. Tiho's visit is the first step towards an exhibition of their works at Yumi Arts.
Well, it's stepping out of the office and meeting people, meeting artists and see their work. That's a good experience for me.
I think going into community is a way of connecting artists with other artists. For Tiho, he is a role model and he can talk about his personal experiences.
We're gonna work on your profile, for emerging artists, because we're on the same level and, we're on that same journey. It's kind of putting them on the map.
The design on there reminds me of seashells on the beach.
All right.
Because I used to live like on the beach in a shack.
Yeah. It's like jumping into one world and jumping into another. So I jump into one world where I got to work and help artists, and when I'm home, I'm back in my art zone and in a different world, and I just get back into my art.
Back in Brisbane, it's 48 hours till Stolen opens. The students are visiting QPAC, some for the first time, to get a feel for their performance venue.
It's always a joy when I take the students over there. It's like our kids in a lolly shop, because all of a sudden it becomes real.
That's my costumes.
I'm just really excited, and yeah, I'll be nervous once we get into opening night. So yeah.
So when they go over there, all of a sudden they walk on the stage and go, oh, here we are, see the lights, see the empty chairs in the auditorium. But it is crazy on the first day when we go in because they're all so excited, and so you should be.
Very excited because I got family coming and everything, and she rang me up yesterday before I went to the movies, and she was like, oh, are you on the Stolen? And I'm like, I'm sort of like acting in it.
Morning, everybody. Hello. Morning. Good to see you. Love you all. Through this process of Stolen, they're only going to grow. You know, they will have an audience of 290 with mixed non-Indigenous people and Indigenous people. So it'll either make them or break them.
It's a big leap from ACPA to Australia's top Indigenous dance company. Kane Sultan Babbage made the jump with easy grace.
You feel like you're in the moment, like you are really there, and you know, you're on the stage and you can see everything happening and you can see the audience and you can feel their energy.
Kane was a really nice example of what happens here. He came in, he was a bunch of sticks. He's a really, really tall fellow, and I just despaired. But suddenly this whole bunch of sticks came together as a beautiful dancer.
After graduating ACPA, Kane was snapped up by Sydney-based Bangarra Dance Theatre, renowned for its fusion of contemporary and traditional dance. He's touring with Bangarra's production of Mathina, the story of a Tasmanian girl stolen from her home and adopted into Western culture.
You know, hands down, ACPA really did give me the opportunities to go to Bangarra. You know, they got the money for me to go down, and they nurtured me as a dancer and developed those networks with Bangarra.
So how's the tour going?
Look, our relationship is something that we have to take seriously because, you know, this is about the next generation of dancers and artists, and so for us to build that relationship with ACPA is, you know, pretty much a Bangarra priority, really.
And what about all the workshops and stuff? You've been enjoying that?
Yeah.
You're sort of aware of, you know, what students are out there, and you see the ones that are hungry and the ones that keep knocking on your door. And Kane was pretty, you know, wonderfully persistent about this is where he knew where he wanted to go, and I don't think you close the door on that hunger.
Every time I was in like a really tough class or a tough stretch or something like that, I'd just be like Bangarra, 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 and just repeat it over in my head. And I trained so hard, I worked so hard, and it's all paid off. So, you know, it really is a dream come true.
It's dance theatre, it's the arts, it's the optimism in that, to celebrate your heritage and culture is and the self-esteem behind that is priceless.
For the ACPA students, months of rehearsals are over. QPAC's Cremorne Theatre is buzzing with anticipation. Tonight's performance of Stolen will take place before an audience filled with proud family.
We are really excited. We've been talking about this non-stop for a couple of weeks. We've been getting updates about the rehearsals and the goings-on and all sorts of things, so we're really pumped. Can't wait to see the show.
3 minutes, 2 minutes for a young girl stage, please.
I'm just real excited because it's my first year here, and then we're going to play at QPAC. It's like one of the biggest theatres that I know about in Brisbane. And then we're doing Stolen too, and that's a big show. People's dreams to be there, to perform there, and you just go on there to be one of them people.
Stolen tells the stories of 5 Indigenous children forcibly removed from their families. Their memories of how they cope tumble from the tragic
Where's my mum going to come for me? Your mother's not coming. She's dead.
to the traumatic.
Sign you up for adoption. No, 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 no. What happened to me? What happened to me?
But there's humour to lighten the pain. And Jakaya's big moment arrives.
I tried to pass him off as one of mine, but he was too pale. One day the welfare came snooping around. The kids were in the bar, so my little bloke, Timothy, pushed them under the bubbles. Until they were gone. That was the only time I ever seen a black baby go blue.
We're not doing it in front of no one. It's kind of relaxing, but then doing it in front of a lot of people, and you get real nervous, and sometimes you'll forget your words, but then you're like, yes, got it. And I'm like, yeah. So.
You know, it's a healing process, and this is exactly what a lot of Indigenous plays are about, the generation prior, to allow our stories to be told.
Who's back there? You black bastard!
To the non-Indigenous community, it's allowing and giving understanding to an otherwise political agenda issue.
Brothers, don't give up the fight. Don't let this happen again. Don't let them take babies from their mother's arms.
Stolen reaches an emotional climax as the cast share their stolen stories.
My grandfather, my grandmother, and her eldest brother and sister were stolen.
My dad, her 2 sisters, my 12 and their children were stolen.
My great-great-grandmother was stolen.
With the emotional journey that you go on with Stolen, the applause at the end of this show is going to be pretty special. And so when they get the applause, I know they're going to be beaming with big smiles, probably a few tears there too, and rightly so. They've worked really, really hard.
Light was shining on you tonight. Behind you and through you, I think.
Thank you. Oh, what about tomorrow?
That's my boy, It's been amazing. I lost my voice a bit there, but I think I'm gonna make it, and I think everyone else is gonna make it.